how exactly did the ruling illegalize abortion in Texas? How did this happen? Why did this happen? And how does it work?
Yeah, I think even in the U.S., a lot of people are asking themselves that very same question of how did this happen? For background, right? Roe v. Wade, which was a court case in 1973, was originally filed here in Texas, and that, forced by a historic women's movement, did grant the formal legal right to an abortion. But the thing is, ever since that happened, it has been subject to attack after attack that just chipped away at genuine access to reproductive care in a regulatory fashion, but also just by the right wing doing everything that they can state by state to make it as difficult and laborious and painful and degrading as possible to access an abortion. In Indiana, you have to bury or cremate the fetus. You have to have pre-abortion counseling with propaganda to convince you not to do it. And all sorts of things like that, and regulations on the width of hallways of clinics that have forced clinics to close everywhere to the point where 6 states only have one clinic. So understanding that background of the situation that led up to this is really important, I think. And meanwhile, these right-wing states have just been throwing out these bills that try to ban abortion and heartbeat bills in this or that way. And it's this song and dance where they put that out in their legislature, riles up their pro-life base, and then it's blocked by the courts on the basis of Roe v. Wade. And with the Texas law, this was a huge breakthrough for the sexist far-right movement trying to eliminate abortion rights and reproductive rights here in the U.S. because of its mechanism of enforcement. It basically empowers any vigilante to sue an abortion provider or anyone who quote unquote aids and abets an abortion, which is certain to embolden the most reactionary and misogynistic elements of society, right? And so because it does that, the pro-life movement, quote unquote pro-life, is very excited that they now have this way of fundamentally restricting abortion. This is a ban on abortion because it bans abortions at 5 to 6 weeks, which is on the basis of there being a fetal heartbeat, really just any sort of early cardiac activity that can be detected. And particularly disgusting about it, there are no exceptions for rape or incest. And I think that the threat of Roe v. Wade being overturned has been hanging over our heads for a long time. But I think that a lot of people in the U.S. were expecting the Supreme Court on September 1st to halt the law from going into effect with a stay. And when they didn't, it's a really huge wake-up call that is really at our doorstep. And now, if we're not able to decisively push it back and defeat it, in Texas, thousands, tens of thousands, in reality, tens of thousands of people are going to be forced to give birth. It doesn't matter if they're homeless. It doesn't matter if they're a kid in middle school. And it doesn't matter if they were sexually assaulted. It is incredibly dehumanizing. And it could spread to other states as well. In Florida, they're trying to replicate the same kind of law.